Say what you gotta say the first time, not the next time. Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy Corey J, and it's time for another episode of To Be Frank, the podcast. Well, it's clearly something that's cooking in the kitchen, and it smells really, really good. I'm really excited about today's guest. He's a real cool guy. Look, I know y'all been seeing him around Louisiana. Get ready to see him across the U.S. Without further ado, let me introduce today's guest. Chef Ralphy Lee of Ralphy Lee Gourmet Catering. What's up, Ralphie?
Not too much. Thank you for having me today on this nice Wednesday.
Thank you for joining. So first things first, how are you feeling today? Because today, you're on the move. We've been moving and grooving here in Louisiana,
right?
And I want to know how is Ralphie feeling today?
I'm actually feeling pretty good. Okay. Got a great nice nap of sleep. Woke up this morning.
He said nap, y'all. Nap.
Got myself prepared. Started my day. Ran a few errands before getting here today.
Okay.
It'll be a great day.
All right. So let's get into this interview. So, Ralphie, tell us where you're from and how did Ralphie Lee Gourmet Catering come into existence?
Well, okay, so I'm from Cecilia, Louisiana, which is a town near Bridge.
Okay.
My Lafayette. I started cooking at a young age, a very young age. Just watching my grandmother cook, watching my aunts, cousins cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up eventually picking up on that. And when I got into my adult life, I continued to cook. Okay. But I tried, 10 different businesses.
Oh wow!
Maybe
Okay.
10, seriously.
Okay.
Clothing line, which is at a point was very popular around Mardi Gras time. Every year Mardi Gras, people support me. They hit me up. I need a shirt. It's called Let Me Be Great Apparel.
Yeah.
I had a cleaning business. I had a few businesses, but I could never just enjoy any of them. I felt like it was more of me following a trend of starting things and doing things, and it wasn't what I really wanted to do. So as I'm entering my say late 20s, I'm more so man, what is my purpose? God, give me a sign. What's next? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And I began cooking, and now I started posting on social media.
Okay.
And people was like, I want this, or sell me this, or could you make this for me?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of I began to see and watch and notice my purpose clearly is to cook. Right. That's what it is. That's where it comes from. And man, it's a therapy for me. It's very, very, very therapeutic. And I love it. Okay. That's where it really comes from.
Okay. So based on what you're saying, I can tell there's a lot of tradition, a lot of family that's connected to your passion for cooking. Mm-hmm. Tell me, who is your biggest inspiration when it comes down to cooking?
Definitely my grandmother.
Okay. My mom. Okay.
My grandmother helped. She raised me, helped mold me into the person I am today. Always did her best. What she instilled in me is what I could take with me for the rest of my life. And cooking. Follow me no matter where I go and what I do is going to be there with me. So definitely my grandmother.
Okay. Come on, my mom. My mom got Ralphie making it do what it do, doing success. Yes. So, Ralphie, there's a myth that most men can't cook.
Really?
How do you feel about overcoming that myth?
Wow, I never knew that. But it has to get another good challenge. It's another good challenge for myself.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't really hear it often, but also I feel like there definitely are. I would say Louisiana-wise, I probably know more female cooks than male cooks. Gotcha. There are a couple others around here who I know interact with, but there's not many who are 100% into in their craft and as in being a chef or catering or whatever that might be. But there aren't too many people, men, not like you say that. So it's
that doesn't really cook.
It's a female-dominated field.
Yeah, and let's up the ante because you're Chef Ralphy Lee. How does it feel to be in that field as a chef? Because there are specialty dishes that you prepare. There's a signature style that you have when it comes down to preparing your meals. Tell us where that signature, where that pizzazz come from, because it's It's different. It's
Right,
not the
right.
usual.
Right. No, basically, I really just when I go into the kitchen or to prepare anything for anybody, whether it's myself, whether it's my mother, grandmother, cousin, spouse, no matter what it is, I just freely do it. Do me. And it just comes with the art of what I love to do. I could be in the kitchen for hours. And it just naturally comes. I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to really explain. You know, the signature or something I do differently from everyone else. I really can't explain it. You know, I just really do Ralph.
Right.
I'm not more into watching with somebody else and I want to do it like this or the it's more so just doing Ralph and Brandon, Ralphy Lee.
That's good.
That's basically where it's at, and that's where I'm at with it.
That's really good. So let's turn up the heat in the kitchen. It's time for really to get intense with these. You know, it's time for some frank moments. It's time for us to be frank on today's show. So first topic that I really want to dive into is family. Like, we all know the famous movie Soul Food. Remember that? You know that. Remember that intense scene of everybody all is, you know, oh girl, we not gonna go into detail, you know, but you know, she got exposed and Vanessa Williams, you know, called her out and whatnot. And you know, it was intense. Like, it was a very intense moment. My question for you, have you ever experienced an intense moment in the kitchen while preparing for an event? That you would like to talk about how you navigate?
Oh God, yes, definitely. That's my experience. Possibly every event I have, but a specific one. Last October, my first brunch.
Okay.
It's my first time doing this.
Yeah.
It's my birthday time. I have a packed house. Packed since 11:30 a.m. Packed house full of people there.
Yeah.
I'm in the kitchen with my team preparing things and things done. And the power keeps going out. Breaker keeps going off. Frying chicken and I have pots on. And it was a lot going on. And I'm in there panicking until where it's showing all over my face. It's just so bad. And I was like, what did I do? I just committed career suicide. I thought like, well, nobody's going to come support me no more. Nobody's going to want to come to the event. Nobody's going to hire me no more. What did I just do? Why did I think this through? It was just so much emotions going on at one time. And someone came in and she was like, her name, by the way, Miss Shirley Williams of Brobridge, Louisiana. Okay, sure. She came in and she was like, stop, calm down. This is your stuff. Yo, Nazi. Like, it was your stuff. You need they're gonna wait on you because this is your stuff. They came here for you. This is your stuff. Do what you gotta do. And she literally gave me the confidence and courage to get through that event. And it was a process. Oh my God. And things kept cutting off, the breaker. It was just so much. There was so much. And I'm very thankful for the owner of that building as well. My entire team all just worked together to get that food out as quick as possible. And it was very, 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 very challenging. We just worked together, and I just prayed, nobody but God. Definitely nobody but God, but that was very challenging. At a big event like that, my first one. And all that happened. First of many, definitely. And all that happened, it was a lot. There was a lot, but we got through it. God, faith, and teamwork.
What one thing that you can take from that event that you would say you would not want to run into again, that was positioned as a challenge for you?
I would never do an event again in my entire life and career and not have a kitchen as a facility.
Gotcha.
Never again. It's very challenging. It's too complicated. Too many risks. These people are depending on you. You know? And I don't ever want to have that. I'm happy it's happening at my own event, right? I'm not somebody else who's a client. So I would never do an event again where I don't have access to a kitchen with stove, water, and all that again. That's just me.
Full service kitchen.
Service kitchen.
Look, don't play with them.
Right.
Chef need everything. He's not about to go in your house and do stuff. he got things all together.
Gotta access everything.
Come on. So Ralphie, let's dig in deeper. When it comes down to an ideal dinner table, if you had to pick 3 celebrities to sit with you for dinner, who would you pick?
Wow, that's really not that hard for me. It's really not that hard. I'm gonna start from bottom one up.
Okay, he got him. He got him in order
Oh,
already.
definitely,
Okay, he got
definitely.
him.
Because I'm big on putting things into the universe. I'm big on just manifesting. I'm very big on manifesting things.
Okay.
And I think that number 3 would be I love Serena Williams. Love.
Okay.
Serena Williams.
Okay.
Like big fan. Humongous fan. Number 2. What number 2 be though? Now that I kind of waited, I think about this number 2. I thought I had it. I thought I had it right there.
Let's see.
Number 2. That's crazy. If you didn't ask me this, I would have known. But
welcome to the podcast.
I'll say another. I'll get into artistry, like music, and I'll definitely say someone like a Taylor Swift or an Adele.
Okay.
Number 2.
Okay.
I definitely would.
All right.
And then of course number 1 would be Beyonce. That's a given. That's a given. That's a dream of mine that I'm going to manifest until it happens. It will happen. Y'all heard it here first.
Come on. And we're gonna be looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be screaming on this side.
He told me he said that. I have the proof.
This is the record. So all right. So Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Adele, and Serena Williams. First, he's added an extra chair to the table, so that's good. So, in addition to these celebrities, I noticed that you've only indicated female celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel? What big challenge do you feel men have in an industry right now that is commonly on the uprise with more females dominating the industry? Like, we know there was a point in time where we felt like, oh, men do everything, men on top, men on top, men on top, men on top, And as far as me, I don't feel either gender really dominates the industry. I just feel people do them.
Right.
But some folks do feel like females are on the uprise right now, making a difference. As far as Ralphy Lee is concerned, like, what is your views on the gender focus on the industry right now?
That's really tough. That's a really hard question because honestly, I still feel like it's a male-dominated industry.
Okay.
Honestly. Okay. So me personally, I don't see where women are just doing better than men in a lot of fields. Like, not saying doing better, but affording more opportunities than men in the industry. Like, I feel like it's very hard for a woman, especially a Black woman. They have the most complicated time of any gender, any race, especially combined. Like, it's the odds are totally separate.
Yeah.
I really, that's a hard one. Okay. Honestly, I really don't have an answer to that, which is weird, but I don't, because that's a hard one. And again, maybe culinary, maybe when it comes to chef, and maybe there's a lot more female chefs than men chefs, and maybe more men should get out there. And even when I watch the chef shows, like Chef Ramsay shows, it's always more women than men. I think I've seen more women than men on the shows multiple times.
Okay. Well, you heard it first. He said he's flowing. He's trying to see what's really going on. So, Ralphie, let's go back a little bit. You mentioned that you're from Cecilia. Mm-hmm. Those that are watching, you're like, what in the world is Cecilia? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you hear Louisiana, you always hear New Orleans, right. And folks really don't know the different cities, when it comes down to Louisiana and culture-wise. Tell us about Cecilia. Like, how was that growing up in Cecilia? What are some things that Cecilia is known for?
Mm-hmm. Known for actually, we like a little party time as well too. Like, we don't have many bars and stuff like that. Okay. Cecilia's more of a community. Like, we don't have our own police department and stuff like that. We have our own mayor, our own council. We don't have that, but more of a community, a very strong community. And I've been go there my entire life, majority of my life. And they're a stick together community as well. They stick together. That's the kind of city where you can ride the bikes all over. Yeah. The main street, like when I was growing up and do all that stuff, you could play outside till 11 p.m. Yeah. Like, that's what I grew up in, that type of environment in Cecilia. Great city, strong. We all support each other in football season. We just made the semifinals.
Come
The
on.
state
Come on, win.
We just made the state finals, correct?
Win. Got a winner on the show. Okay.
And the support is amazing. Like they support me as well, so I gotta be very firm and frank with that. My community definitely supports me, like 100%. Anything I have, support me, sell out every single time.
That's dope.
Every single time. So yeah, it's a great little city, Bulldog Nation.
Okay.
Yeah, we all support each other there. It's like a family. It's like a one big family.
Okay. Now, you mentioned support. Yeah. And support is an issue that is constantly talked about, whether it's on social media, in person, or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Tell us, what is one challenge that you feel right now obtaining support from those that you grew up with?
I feel like that people won't support you until it's popular to support you, especially when it comes to family and friends that you grew up with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I could literally count on my hand how many times family has supported me.
Yeah.
And I have one of the biggest families in this region.
Gotcha.
And but back to the question, makes it so complicated is that, again, until it's popular to support you, they won't do it. And also it's because of their own situation, right?
Right.
I feel like everyone have the same 24 hours.
That's true.
I wasn't always this person I am today, but we all have the same 24 hours. And I feel like it's easier in life to, from other people's perspective, clearly, it's easier to be like, whatever, I ain't getting this from him, or that's too high, or yeah, he grew up with me, I ain't getting this from him. It's just like, why does it have to be like that?
Right.
Why? If that's your mindset, you're gonna always be small-minded in the space you're in. And I feel like you can't force family to support you. You can't force your friends who you grew up with to support you. It gotta come genuinely and wanting to do it. And again, it's something that comes from within. If they're not okay from within, they'll not be able to support someone else, right?
Right.
It's impossible. And it took me a long time, a lot of cries, a lot of disappointment, a lot of all that to accept that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. It's very hard. Still till today, it's very hard.
Yeah.
But I had to really put in my mind that that's who those people are. You cannot change that.
Right.
You can't change that. People are going to be who they are, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Including family and friends as well.
Right.
That's just how I look at that now. But that, to answer your question overall, I feel like that's what it is. They're just not okay with their own self. So how could you be okay to support somebody else who's investing in going after their dreams? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that don't happen every day.
And one of the things that I've observed, because I have two brands. You know, one of my brands, I've been running for 17 years and counting. And whereas it comes to be frank, it's brand new. Like it's approaching the second year. And hearing you speak, one of the lessons, that I had to learn was, clearly what you just mentioned about mindsets, though also everyone doesn't dream in color. And the reason why I say is because a lot of folks tend to come into this whole perspective of, I want to be like somebody else.
Right.
When in actuality, if you just be yourself, you will receive more love, more support, more acceptance. And one of the key things that I know with you is you're constantly overcoming challenges to where you're like, I'm not waiting for someone to tell me yes.
Right.
I'm going to keep pushing until the yes comes to me.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So let's say somebody is watching from Louisiana, or let's just say somebody that grew up with you and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm watching Ralphie. Like, he done made it. Like, he's coming up. What encouragement would you give them? Like, this is a person that's feeling isolated, stuck, is at the fork of the road. Like, what would you tell them right now that would help boost not only their confidence, but give them the momentum and the courage to approach that next?
The first thing would be to always believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself. Something I suffered with for a very long time. I thought my own self. I thought my own talent.
Yeah.
It's still weird hearing people tell me I could be anywhere. Just yesterday, anywhere, I was checking out something. I went to this venue to check out something, and the guy I was talking to, the owner of the facility, and his friend was like, "Oh, I know him. He's something good. Like he's something special. Like a chef's a chef. Like he's good." Hearing things like that to me still seem unreal.
Gotcha.
It seems unreal. And so I would tell them, don't ever give up on yourself. Never stop believing. And it's never going to happen overnight. You're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to put in work. You're going to have to stay up long nights sometimes. You're going to have to sacrifice missing things.
Yeah.
I've not had a weekend off the Warner season so far. Like, the last weekend of January, I was starting catering for the new year. And you got to sacrifice. But even when others don't believe in yourself, you have to believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else will. And you got to speak that positivity and confidence over your life. You have to. Because if not, who else will do it for you? I cannot rely on you to speak confidence into me. I can't rely on my grandmother to build me up. You really can't. In reality, you cannot. They're going to do that. You're going to have people who want to do that, but you can't rely on that. You got to keep pushing. And you got to do the best you can to perfect your craft of whatever you're doing. No matter what it is. Invest in your time. Take losses. I'm planning.
Yeah.
You have to go full throttle and just not give up. Not give up and keep God first. I'm very firm on that.
Come on now.
Keep God first.
Come on, amen. I will pass the offering plate right now. Because, Ralphie that gave us the word. Once the word, you got to sow on that word.
Yes. That's what I see.
So let's continue on with the conversation and let's learn about young Ralphie. Mm-hmm. Like, childhood Ralphie. Like, I know you mentioned like you used to cook, with your grandmother back then and whatnot. Could you reflect on one moment when you really started seeing that cooking was going to be your thing, watching your grandmother? Could you remember one dish that you watched her prepare and you was like, you know what? I could do that.
Maybe pasta, because that's my favorite dish. Pasta is my favorite dish, so I would say pasta because that was my go-to. And something she would make pasta like she would fettuccine. They name it differently.
Yeah.
And it also was my favorite dish she would make for me. So kind of was like, I could do this. And she would make a roast, I could do that.
Yeah.
And she would make some green beans, I could do that. So it kind of smelled the chicken. It kind of went from there, Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, I'll do this. And I never physically was taught. Not physically, like, we pour some out or season. It was never that. It was more so you watch it and you learn it. Like, I'm watching what she's doing, and I'm just instilling it in myself just to do it. And that's kind of how that went. I've been around with her for a very long time. From a kid, went to my mom for like a year. She came back to my grandmother, and she's instilled a lot in me. A lot. But watching her cook all them dishes, I'll be like, well, I'm definitely going to do this.
Okay.
Like, now, when she would leave, I'll go and cook. I'm cooking in the kitchen. Okay. She's going out the house, I'm cooking. And yeah.
So, childhood Ralphie and Ralphie now, what's the biggest difference?
And
let's even go more in depth. Teen Ralphie to adult Ralphie. Because, when you going through teen life, that's puberty. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come into an adult, it's a whole different ball game. So, teen Ralphie versus adult Ralphie, what's the key difference?
So I'm gonna be frank with you.
Come on, like that's what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna be frank.
That's what we're gonna do.
Teen Ralphie is still a little boy.
Okay.
You get it? You catch it? I got you. Still a little boy. Teen Ralphie is been raised by his grandmother, right?
Okay.
His grandmother love, not his mom, not his dad. That's Teen Ralphie. I'm gonna say this right and articulate my words properly. Teen Ralphie was becoming an adult while still being a little boy.
Okay.
Teen Ralphie was still searching for love from his parents.
Okay.
Coming from a little boy, still seeing like he's still this little boy, but he's just a teenager now. Just the only thing that's changed is the age. That's it. But the mindset and the nourishment he wanted and the love he wanted to feel is still a little boy, right? So he's still wanting that love. He's still searching for that, but he's still going to adult life and he's still having to deal with life. But it was a challenge for me because I didn't have my parents growing up.
Okay.
More so how I felt like I should have had.
Gotcha.
And for a very, very, very long time, I held on to that.
Yeah.
My mom was more so was like my sister than my mother because it's my grandmother. That's her daughter, right? And my grandmother had me from a kid, so I knew I called her the mom. Like that was my grandmother. And I took her. I took something my grandmother told me. I remember as a kid, she was like, she told me something. I don't want to say it wrong, man. Along the lines of she loved me and like I'm all like I'm no matter what, like something like along those lines.
Yeah.
Just took it with me forever, my entire life.
Yeah.
But basically, fast forward to maybe 11, 12 years old. My mother on Christmas break, you go home for Christmas holidays from school, and she came and got me, right? And she came and got me, and she took me to Liberia. Hated it there. Hated children, hated school, hated it all.
Okay.
And I cried so much. I could just still see it and just picture the visual. I just hated being there. Yeah. And I remember I began to get abused physically.
Oh wow. Okay.
My mom.
Okay.
And she was getting physically abused from her baby daddy. Okay. Her children's father, I should say. Okay. Proper term. And I felt like the outlet of her abuse was to abuse me. Even if it wasn't what she wanted to do, right? It was convenient. Mind you, she had 3 little kids, but it was his kids, right? So she's not going to go beat on his kids because that can cause more abuse for her. Right. So that went on for like a year. Terrible. Wow. Terrible space to be in. And I remember it was my birthday, maybe 13th birthday. And I remember those times we were at school and I had full of bruises on me. Like it was terrible. The loops and all that. I could still picture it. Yeah. And I remember running away and getting to a phone and calling my grandmother to come and get me. And she was like, what? And I'm just yelling at her. I think I was crying, if I'm not mistaken. And she didn't know exactly what was going on. She thought I just wanted to be back with her, right? Yeah. Not knowing. So it wasn't what it was. Right. So she come and get me. I go back there. Nothing's ever said about it again, right? It's never mentioned I wanted to come back. Basically, never said that. Even out of fear, never know what it was, but never spoke on it again. And growing up fast forward into adult Ralphy Lee, all that trauma in that 1 year of time followed me into my adult life. Gotcha. And it was until maybe 2 years ago, I began to deal with it, and begin to see the effects of it and to begin to just lash out and become angry. I wasn't angry for no reason. I'm lashing out at people I love, like my grandmother, like cousins, people I talk to, my friends, my loved ones, you know what I'm saying? Right. I was like, bro, this is not right. You tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this is not you. It's not who you are. And of course, I would seek professional help. I went to counseling, which most people and Black people don't do because they're scared of the stigma. It's put on us. So I did that. And I had to dig deep and search, and I found out what the root of my issue was. It came from the abuse from my mother. It came from the abandonment of my father, because he's not innocent as well. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I just never properly got that love I so desperately seek from them. And as an adult, Ralphy Lee, I began to search for that in different places. Okay. And that would never exist, right? Just never, because you're never gonna find that love. Like nobody's gonna love you with your parents, and vice versa. Like it was impossible to find that. Gotcha. And I suffered with that for a very long time, very, very long time. And I found an outlet in cooking to release that pain and that hurt. And basically, I can go into my kitchen and cry for hours, but I'm still cooking, making food, and I'm still enjoying that moment. Right. And that became my outlet. And I feel like that was instrumental in me becoming Chef Ralphy Lee. That pain I went through as a child and a teenager and early adult stages prepared me to become the man I am. That built me into who I am now. And I honestly, somebody asked me, my console is crazy, asked me, and I was talking for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and she asked if I would change any of it, and I told her no. Right. Because maybe I wouldn't be who I am today. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do it if I don't know my passion, my purpose. So soon I could still be searching for 10 more years. You know? Right, yeah. But that was instrumental, and that's something evolving. Like your question was from, boy, teenager to adult.
Right.
That all was instrumental in that. All that carried by my grandmother's love. My grandmother was very firm. I won't say too much strict, but she was firm.
Yeah.
And she was tough on me, but she was never made me feel not loved. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
She gave me that love that I desperately wanted.
That tough love.
Tough love, and gave me what I wanted and needed,
Right.
at the time. She gave me what I needed to, but the best she could do. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not being a parent. That children is grown. Like, that was a responsibility.
What you doing over here?
Well, yeah. So that was instrumental. That was a good question, because that all played a part into who I am now. That little boy.
And I thank you for your transparency, because that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
Here on To Be Frank is, you have to frankly speak, like saying directly what's going on. And I value your story, because there's so many men out there that have been affected by domestic violence. You know, oftentimes when you hear domestic violence, first thing folks think of is, it's a male and a female, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. But in actuality, there are family traumas that happen. And when you don't resolve those traumas, that causes a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of setbacks, a lot of isolation. And outlets are everywhere. My pastor says it all the time. It's okay to have Jesus and a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to build those communities. Saying all to say brings me to my next question. When it comes down to you first embracing that you suffered from domestic violence, what did you feel was your first safe space for you to talk about what happened? Aside from the therapist, what do you feel was your first outlet as your safe space?
I'm trying to think. The first person I spoke to about it, I'm really trying to think.
Or it could have been a place you visited, or a thing that you grasped.
I think it was one of my cousins.
Okay.
I remember going to her house and just speaking to her about it and telling her, and I won't go into depth of the entire conversation.
No, that's completely fine.
But she kind of explained to me that she said, cousin, sometimes, I remember these words, sometimes people could only love you the way they know how to. And I was like, what you mean? And she explained it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She was like, maybe that's all they knew how to love. Maybe that's all they could give you at that moment.
Right. And
I remember asking her why. Maybe I feel like she loved her other kids more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
that's when she had an explanation. She was like, maybe at that time, she didn't know how to love you properly. It was the first born. There was so much going on. But no matter what it was, that was her explanation.
Right.
And she gave me that safe space. And for years, even most recently, I seen her last weekend. I went to one of my cousins. I tell you, one of my cousins had a benefit, and I stopped there and I ran into her.
Gotcha.
There's always a hug and love, and and that's how it is. But she's always given a safe space to vent and talk to her, even before I confronted my mother about it, right?
Yeah.
Because the confront just happened like last year.
Wow.
It just happened. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm 32 years old.
Gotcha.
It just happened. And she's always given me a safe space to talk and into. I can call anytime and I can call and cry and whatever. And people don't realize, especially again, my Black people, we all go through trauma. We all have things that happen to us. Please go seek professional help and get it taken care of, because I could be out partying.
Right.
I was at a point where I was out partying, having a great time with family and friends, or just friends, whoever. Well, I had to go and cry in the car, go outside and cry.
Yeah.
Because it was the emotion from the alcohol, whatever. With
part of your healing journey.
Right, basically, right. It is all the emotions that just be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And I told my counselor the next day, and she's like, that's a part of it all. Like, it's a part of it all. You can't change that. You can't. It's a time, it's everything.
Right.
It's a process. So that was definitely instrumental, again, for me to learn and accept that too. But she gave me a safe space that I hadn't really speaking to no one about. And as time went on, I spoke to a few people about it, still haven't vocally spoken about it publicly ever. And
you an exclusive stuff there.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like the final act of love is forgiveness.
That's good.
The final act of love is forgiveness, and I forgave my mother, right? So that's not something I want to harbor on for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Will our relationship always be as strong as probably could have been? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do I still talk to her? Of course I do. Do I
Yeah.
love her? Of course I do, right? But what do I wish things could have been differently? Of course. You know? Of course. Well, to take my future? Of course not.
Right.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I'm just Ralphy Lee. You know
Come on now. Come on.
But it was a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thank my cousin. Thank her for giving me that safe space.
Thank you, cousin.
Yes, thank you, cousin.
We ain't gonna say your name, but you know who you are, cousin.
Yes, you know, I love you.
That matters. In addition to that, I'm grateful that you mentioned forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
When you went into forgiveness, you approached it in a matter of love. Mm-hmm. You didn't approach it in a matter of rage. How do you feel it's important not to approach rage with more rage? Because we tend to see that happen more often.
Definitely.
So where like you're saying you're healing, but you're still lashing out. You know what I'm saying? So how important it is not to approach rage with more rage.
Yeah, it's definitely important to get the help first. I feel like to heal. At least start healing. Yeah. Until you're ready to have a conversation with someone to approach a situation. Because I was the rage person at a point, and that's why I needed to get help. You know what I'm saying? And I took the proper steps to do that. And people definitely should not attempt to approach a situation still mad and hurt, because that can go left really fast physically.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
It can just go very bad.
It leads to more abuse.
Definitely does. And more hurt.
Yeah, more hurt.
More pain. And if you're in pain already and you're hurting, why hurt some more? Why not? And again, they don't know that, right? People don't know that. People don't know that. It took me time to know that. Yeah. So I'm sure others don't know that. And I'm sure people that's getting abused right now happens often in this country, in this state.
Yeah.
People's gonna have to go through what I went through. Like that kills me. Yeah. And it hurts. It hurts because it's not a great feeling. Like so many things could trigger you into thinking about that abuse.
Right.
Those thoughts never go away. I don't care what nobody says.
Right.
Those thoughts and what you went through never goes away. Whether it's physical abuse, sexually abuse, no matter what it is, it never goes away. Right. Never goes away. We learn to maintain it through therapy.
Right. Overcoming triggers.
And overcoming triggers and get better with it. Yeah. That's exactly what I've done. Because I feel like that's the only way to do it. There's the only way to do it. So that's why I wish everyone out there, everyone's dealing with some type of trauma. Yeah. Don't let it affect your everyday life.
And it's the solution. Once again, I appreciate you for saying your story, because when it comes out to me, I'm a testament of it as well. You know what I'm saying? My first time that I was abused was in middle school. You know what I'm saying? And so hearing another male, be vocal about overcoming domestic violence is a huge thing. And we have to have more voices that are open to it, though, once you've healed. Because a lot of times, if you just say it and you're not healed or in the healing process, it's almost to where you start damaging yourself more. Which brings me to my next question. How did you develop community, not only when it comes down to overcoming domestic violence, but those that can actually accept who Ralphie Lee is? How did you start developing the friendships that you have today?
I don't have many of those no more. Like lately, it's like the past 2 years. I feel like, but in the beginning, I feel like just me being me. For all my friendships, I'm very outgoing. I can be blunt at times. I'm very caring and protective. Gotcha. My biggest instinct, I feel like, is my protection. I'm very protective of my family, my siblings. I have a lot of them. My friends, but I love you like your family or a friend. And I'm very, very, very protective over that. And just it really came from me just being me. I would let people love me for me. I don't want to pretend to be something that I'm not. Yeah. Again, I probably was that person, like, younger 20s or whatever it was. But as you evolve and I'm becoming to this man who no one can never take away from ever again. I'm me. I'm only going to give them me. I'm only going to be Ralph. You're going to see me out. I could be having the worst day ever. I want to still smile with anybody. Yeah. I want to still say hello. Hope you had a great day. I did it earlier today. I wasn't mad, but I want to still speak to everyone I see and greet them and give them the best and the most effective me I could, and give them positive energy as well, because I want to get the same in return. I feel like energy. If I'm having a bad day or I'm slacking, person telling me hello, will give me the most energy ever.
Right.
Like the most ever. So that's how my friendships have started. And I have a few friendships that's still there, after a long time, but some have expired. And it's okay. You know? It's definitely okay. But yeah, that's how they basically it was built. It's just me being me and them being them.
Yeah.
Which I feel like more people should be. We shouldn't have to fake it to be in a friendship. We shouldn't have to pretend to be a certain status to be in a friendship. You shouldn't have to pretend to be a certain way to be friends with somebody. That's not real. It's not legitimate. Right. When I go out, I want to have a great time. Great time. Period. I want to have fun. When I'm at dinner, I might be a little bougie a little bit, right? I have my bougie tendencies, right? Okay. All of that. I'm going to be dressed 99% of the time when I'm out anywhere. Yeah. That's just me, right? So my friends who I'm cool with got to be accepting for me. As simple as that. Yes. It's just me. I just want to make everybody feel comfortable, and if you vibe with me and I vibe with you and my friends, and that's just what it is. Close, yeah. And I appreciate you saying that because it brings me to the current challenge that a lot of people are facing right now, which is calling people friends when in actuality they should be labeled as acquaintances, associates, partners, colleagues, what have you. Where does the disconnect come from when it comes to labeling actual friends? It comes from people like me. Okay. People like me who thinks just because somebody should be a little bit of love back, just a little bit of love back, or somebody would compliment you a few times or something like that, that they're different, right? Right. And people like me who are they're protective and they're so loving and they, see the best in everybody, because I really do. Right. You think everybody is your friend, and then as time goes on, you gotta learn a hard, tough lesson that they're not, right? Yeah. Which is what it is, and we gotta learn to separate, like you said, friends, colleagues, acquaintances. All that's not the same thing. Right. It's not the same thing. So we actually have a friend. Let me give you a prime example. I'm just gonna say this. If me and you are best friends, or me and you are close, we're cool. So we're friends in general. We're friends, right? Yes. There's no reason someone should walk into a room or should get a text or call you, right, and discuss me ever without you shutting it down. Right. Right. That's just me and my loyalty. Yeah. Everyone else's principles is maybe not the same, but that's just me. I've never had in my entire life. I'm 32 years old. Never had somebody call me about one of my friends. If they did, I've always checked them. Right. I don't play them games. Like I'm big. I'm firm and I'm big on that. I do not play that. And I've had this happen to me a few times. A few times where there was something about, no matter what it was about, right? It's betrayal. It's betrayal, and it hurts because I'm so loyal, right? And people expect you to be like, oh, it's not a big deal, and go back to doing things like normal. No, I will never trust you again. Yeah, the same. I won't. I won't look at you the same again, and I'm loyal to a fault. I'm loyal to where I've cost me my own peace, my own situations. I'm loyal to a fault. I've had great friends as well. Yeah, but I feel like I put more into friendships than I've gotten back, if it makes sense. Gotcha. I definitely have, and it's definitely hurt it. It's definitely hurt it. But I've learned to deal with it and keep on going. And then when I say hurt it, I can still see you in a room for my friend and say hello and keep it moving. Right. Still but cordial. I can be cordial in any situation because I'm a businessman first and foremost. Yeah. I'm Chef Ralphy Lee first now. I'm not Ralphie Lee no more. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. I'm in public. My brand is first. I'm first. Yeah. Where I'm going is first. I'm not doing all that extra stuff, all the negative stuff. I'm just not doing that. You got that. Where do you feel disloyalty and betrayal stems from? That's a good question because I asked myself that recently yesterday. I really do not know. And again, I feel like let me give you a prime example. I feel like not everybody, your friends want you to do well, or certain friends want you to do well until you're doing better than them. The minute you're doing well, or so much attention on you, or you're expected to succeed and evolve and do well, things begin to change. Yeah. Things begin to change a lot. And I've seen it happen with myself a lot in friendships. And I'm just being honest. Right. It is what it is. I've seen that happen the past few months within my life. Right. Things begin to be differently. People begin to change. They begin to change. The support and the love I've given every one of my friendships I've lived. Just so much I feel like I've never got the same in return. It's just simple as that. Even to some family members that have heard it, people I looked at as sisters, big sisters, have watched people sit there degrade me and not speak up for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you know and watch the man I've become, and you knew the abuse I went through, you knew how I struggled, you know what I'm saying, to get to who I am, and they watched that all happen. Like, how are you my friend, right?
Right.
How are we even cool? Like, how can I even trust you? How could you be like, hey, boy, I love you? Like, what? And I've done so much stuff for people. And people, let me be clear, I've had people do a lot of great things for me as well.
Yeah.
And I'm very appreciative and fortunate and grateful because I'm very humble.
Yeah.
But when it comes to loyalty, I went above and beyond every single time.
Gotcha.
Every single time. And I just didn't get that reciprocated.
Yeah, and I see that because I can tell right now you're in a space where that's all you're really seeking is love and reciprocity. That's like the two key things that you're seeking at. And if I had to add a third, I would say peace. Like you're done with trauma. You're done with abuse. You want that peace. So before we wrap up today's interview, which my goodness, it ain't just been an episode, y'all. Like Ralphie Lee got a story. What would you say to 12-year-old Ralphie Lee? Because it's 20 years ago. You're 32 now.
Right.
So what would you say to 12-year-old Ralphie Lee?
I would tell him that stay strong. And you got this, basically. Just keep fighting through it. Like, never give up on yourself again. And you're going to be something amazing. That's what I would definitely tell him because the person I am now, at 12 years old, I wouldn't have dreamt of being the person I am now. I couldn't see this for myself. A few years ago, I couldn't see it for myself. And I only see my ceiling getting higher.
Yeah.
I think my peak is very tall. I want to always speak life into myself. I'm going to always give myself them pep talks in the mirror. I'm going to always have daily affirmations.
Yeah.
I want to always manifest the life that I want. I'm going to always make sure it comes true as well.
That's good.
That's something I would definitely tell my younger self. Stay the course.
So
that's what my cousin would tell me. So
32-year-old Ralphie, is there anything you would like to change about yourself right now as you move forward into the future?
Having more patience and stop accepting people doing you wrong and making excuses for them. Stop accepting those things and learning to accept people for who they are and keep it moving. Because I have a hard time doing that. I still suffer with, not as bad as I was, but I still suffer with accepting people for who they are and just letting it be. I still want to fix it sometimes. Right. Fix people and feel like, oh, they will do me like that. But they will.
Right.
They will.
Right. You don't want to leave a meal uncooked. I got you.
Yeah. Don't want to leave a meal uncooked.
You see all those ingredients, you're like, wait, we got to make something with this. Something got to happen with this. We got to make it. Yeah, so, Ralphie, once again, we want to thank you for being on today's episode. You were like incredible to interview. Though, we want to know what's next for Ralphie Lee. Like, what can we expect from Ralphie Lee, Chef Ralphie Lee Gourmet Catering, all that good stuff? What can we expect?
Or something big. It wouldn't be nothing small and nothing that's going to be just regular. Yeah. So on March 17th, 2024, I'll be having my next brunch experience in the great city of St. Martinville, Louisiana. And man, it's going to be big.
Congrats to you. So it's sold out.
Thank you so much. It's sold out in 24 hours, all 24 tables. I have 3 amazing DJs, 3 different generations. I have DJ Brother Rob, the GOAT, man.
He cuts up.
The one of the longest lasting in this area.
Cuts up.
We got DJ Big Sam from the next generation.
Definitely on the floor all day.
Man, yes. And then we got the up and coming youngster from St. Martinville. DJ Pug. Amazing, all amazing. So I'm excited for that. And it's been a journey to even have this even happen.
Yeah.
As I was telling you, like, behind the scenes or whatever. So I'm very, very excited. And shout out to the city of St. Martinville. Shout out to the mayor of St. Martinville, the entire council, all of that. Appreciate y'all for allowing me to have my event in your city.
Come on, the Ville, St. Martinville, hold it down.
Yes, the first person, by the way, to have an event of this magnitude in a city building in St. Martinville, Louisiana.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm appreciative. Appreciative. Appreciative.
Look, I got
appreciative of that.
That's what we
And
say.
I thank y'all so much, man, for everything, for all the support, all the love, St. Martinville, to all my clients, my supporters, my family, my spouse, man, everybody. I love y'all so much, and I appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for riding with me. And one more thing, I want to shout out to all the other chefs and caterers in this Lafayette area. By the way, I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
They have been so supportive of me. They have, inspired me. Some of them have booked me. They have bought things from me, and they've all been like a team of a big inspirer.
That's what it's all about.
And that don't happen often in their business.
Correct.
Everybody's competing.
I know that for a fact.
It's competing.
Yeah.
But this Lafayette area has loved them so
Especially in
much.
your hometown. Yeah.
Oh, especially your hometown. But even my hometown, even in Gourmet, man. Miss Jennifer was the first who owns oh my mind, it's all over the place. Oh my God.
It's gonna come to you. We're gonna put it in the
comments. Yes, please. But listen, Miss Jennifer has been awesome. She booked me and gave me my first catering from another caterer. Yeah.
Okay.
Like she was my first person. And I wish it to everybody. All of every single one. I think y'all.
So those watching, Ralphie, how can they follow you? Like how those that want to connect to you, give us ways on how we can keep up with you.
Got you. Y'all can definitely go on Instagram. That's my probably main source of communication. At Chef Ralphy Lee on Instagram, or you can go over to Facebook and you can hit me up at Ralphy Lee. And it's not hard to find. I think if you just type in Chef on Instagram, I'll pop up like one of the first 3 names. It shouldn't be that hard.
All right, well, y'all heard it first. So, Ralphie, once again, on behalf of the To Be Frank fam, thank you for being on today's show. So, y'all heard it first. Frankly speaking, it had to be said. It's your boy, Corey J. We're signing out. Peace.
Good riddance, guys.